I think this is the first time we'll actually talk to the camera, just saying, you know, this is Costa Rica Unfiltered. We're starting this new podcast. I'm Ken Freitas.
Mario Science.
Don Mario. And stick around. We're going to give you an episode today as to what we're talking about.
This is the Costa Rica Unfiltered podcast, featuring your host, Kenny Costa Rica, alongside the one and only Don Mario.
Yeah, I mean, what is where you came with that name from? I mean,
well, we came up with the name because it's Costa Rica, and living here in Costa Rica, you know, there's ups and downs, and like everywhere you live in the world. So a lot of the times when we see stuff on social media and people post, it's beautiful Costa Rica, which it is beautiful. Obviously, the background here is real. It's not a green screen.
like knowing that you're not far from the beach, though.
Yeah, 2 minutes from the beach. But we wanted to do this because it's unfiltered, because there is good, there is bad, and we want to talk about everything here.
Okay.
We want to interview people that are owning businesses, and you know how it was to open the businesses, maybe bad, maybe good, whatever, and that's why we came up with the name Costa Rica Unfiltered.
Well, in that case, we welcome your audience.
Yeah, fantastic.
You know, and invite them to let us know if they have questions or they would like to hear a little more on a particular topic or subject.
Yeah, that's they can send us emails or messages on social media.
Yeah.
Any questions they have, and we'll try to answer them at the end of every episode.
Yeah.
Have a little question and answer section.
Yeah, it's like we mentioned yesterday when we were talking. Why Costa Rica?
Yeah.
You know?
Between all the different places, I guess there is to go to, right?
Right. Even USA in particular, they have like 10 countries that they consider an invitation for Americans to go and retire themselves. But now retirement in South has changed. Now the move of families is more about living and living conditions and living status.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to grow up their kids and with different ideas and other languages and other experiences, you know.
I think it's like, Canada, same thing. It's like we live by the clock every day.
That's
and
correct.
I feel like me and my wife coming here,
Yeah.
We were back home always wondering that's all we do, right? We wake up, go to work, come home, kids are in school, eat, get ready for the next day again.
Right.
Hopefully you got something cool to do on the weekends, maybe take a trip or two a year, and that's it, where maybe, just maybe, we can live somewhere different.
Yes, and create your own reality there.
Yeah.
You know.
Maybe a better quality of life, maybe.
Well, we live a little more, in the environment-wise, we live a little more on sands. And, it's no routine, per se. That means anything that you eat around here, or even the water that you drink, doesn't have artificial colors.
Mm-hmm.
We are not as commercial as other countries regarding how we feed ourselves and the water that we drink,
Yeah, I agree with that.
All that is different to your body and the way the body responds.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people, they come from other countries, they experience the need not to keep taking pills or taking pharma, prescriptions.
Like we just talked about today.
Yes,
Yeah.
because, maybe you can change your diet and all of a sudden that is enough.
Yeah, live a healthier lifestyle. This way you don't have to worry about, taking that kind of stuff. I like the idea you said about not having like the same routine.
That's correct.
Which is cool. Like we kind of do here when the kids are in school. Obviously we have that routine where we have to take them to school in the morning and they're there through the day. But other than that, everything's kind of different, right? You set up your appointments, you do. It's just a different kind of lifestyle, right?
Right.
Things like Kim always says, she's like, oh, if today's a bank day, I have to make sure I don't have too much on the agenda because I might spend a couple hours.
You're going to spend a couple hours in the bank.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a couple hours at the bank. So it's a bank day, right?
Yes.
If it finishes early, bonus, we can do a couple other things, right?
Yes, that's true too. And in each community, I was, driving this morning to come here, and I realized that each community has their own pluses and challenges. That means that if you start adapting yourself to that, to that lifestyle, all of a sudden you start finding yourself more relaxed because in what direction to head each particular day or what to do each particular day.
Yeah, and there's different places that will allow you to do more or less. Towns that you live in where you can be busy and be crazy all day, or other towns where you can be more chill throughout the day and,
Not worry about nothing.
Nothing, not worry about nothing.
Yes, worry about nothing. That is basically it. And that, in a sense, can be part of the attribute of living healthy or living longer, that all of a sudden you change your lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that's the reason why we wanted to do it also, right? We came for a specific reason, came down during COVID, lockdowns in Canada, came here, but at the same time when we did some research as to where we wanted to go, this seemed like a place where you kind of do live that healthier lifestyle, right? I mean, don't get me wrong, we live here now and we can see that if you want to live a lifestyle like you do back home, you can eat the junk food, you can eat the crappy stuff.
That's correct.
I mean, it's expensive to get that kind of stuff, but if you want to eat healthy, it's a heck of a lot cheaper here to eat a healthy diet, that's for sure.
That's true.
Yeah.
And you can basically expose yourself to experiment every month what is it that is good for you, There's a lot of products that, they are not good for certain people. And
yeah. Look at us talking about healthy lifestyles and I'm smoking a cigar.
But that's a healthy
healthier alternative than smoking.
Well, it's tobacco, man.
Yeah. Natural, it's all natural.
Yeah, it's something that we produce here or our neighbors. I mean, for a lot of people, that can be an option too.
And they're a treat. Like cigars, I mean, any cigar smokers out there, they'll know this is a lifestyle. This is just something. And again, you don't smoke a ton. There was a point where I was smoking one a day, and I don't do that anymore. But this is just a treat for me to come and have a nice cigar.
Well, it's like anything. You have your own hobbies, and there's a hobby.
Everything in moderation, right?
Otherwise, doesn't make any sense. But it's a beautiful weather. It's a beautiful day. That means
enjoy.
And welcome for those that are coming in or those that are thinking about it.
Yeah.
Introduce ourselves as Costa Ricans. Just welcome.
Mario is Costa Rican.
Born and raised
in Costa Rica. A little bit of a.
And Central, San Jose, who is the capital. That's where I born and raised.
But you spent some time in the...
since I was maybe, I don't know, since I was probably 14, 15, by talking to some family members that went abroad, they kind of started inviting me to the idea that eventually I should go somewhere and kind of develop my culture and, gain... a better view of the planet. And that's why I choose to go to USA, and I stayed there enough years to understand, how the world operates, because Costa Rica is still in some kind of behind the schedule.
That's what we love about it.
We're not full developed, especially in areas outside the main capital.
But I think that's why most people that are coming here, they're coming here for that reason. It feels like we're kind of behind in everything, so it's a little bit slower lifestyle.
Yes, actually, we've been talking all the time about how the expats moving to Costa Rica are helping push development, because we didn't have an international airport. We didn't have medical facilities. We didn't have important supermarkets or pharmacies. And now all that is available, thanks to the
foreigners coming in. Yeah.
That means it's a contribution, The government tried to create new laws and, ways and people can show up and feel they're welcome. Yeah. And with that being said, they can have opportunities to find whatever they need in order to live their lives,
When you came back here, because you went to the States for, how many years were you in the States?
17 together, yeah.
And when you came back, did you come here? Like, did you, like, we're Playa Grande, but did you come to Playa?
No, I came back to San Jose. And that's when I chose to become a consultant. You know, at that time I was like at 38 years old. And I was hired by companies that were projecting businesses with foreign community. And I was helping them, maybe because, you know, language was one thing and the exposure to USA gave me some advantages in that. And by the time I was, I may say 40-something, I was invited to a big project on the beach side. And that's when I started basically introducing myself to the coast.
Oh,
and
so that's when you ended up coming kind of down this way.
Yes, it happened like 22 years ago. Yeah. And from that moment on, you know, I've been connected to the coast and the developing of the coast and see the transformation of the little towns.
Mm-hmm.
How, I mean, I remember places where not even a little supermarket was in place. You know, it was just a lady, you know, bringing some goodies from the main cities.
Not even like a pulperia.
Nothing.
Wow.
You know? And you should explain for those that don't know what a pulperia is.
Pulperia, like a little local.
Yeah, but it's tiny.
Tiny little, like a convenience store, but yeah, it's but very small.
No, it's like a garage, mama's, you know, mama's place.
And most of them are in somebody's house, like they kind of open
like
a room up and make a little grocery store type thing. Yeah.
When basically it's just to, you know.
Yeah, pulperia.
Yeah,
and you still there's a lot of them still.
Yes,
there's a lot of them. Like you drive, if you're flying into Liberia, man, all the little towns you pass, Belen and Philadelphia, you'll see a lot of them, right? In between those little towns, there's all kinds of little pulperias.
But do you notice how you can right there? How you will notice what you said about Costa Rica being behind and how the development is pushing. You know, because all of a sudden you find it. Brand new plaza or brand new supermarket or brand new pharmacy or clinic or whatever. You know?
And we always wonder, we're like, how do because there's a lot of them. Like, it's like you drive down the road and there could be three you beside each other. And we always wonder, how do all those people make money? And I think, which is I explained to Kim, I think like those little shops, they just need to make enough in the day just to live their life, just to get by. They don't need to get rich. Nobody's looking to get rich. They're just making enough money just to live their life and be happy.
These people can go to Price Mart, who is a Costco, right? It's a big store.
Yeah, that's right in front of the Liberia airport, and it is I mean, you walk in, you think you're in Costco.
Yes,
if you didn't see the name on the front, everything is identical. Exactly. They sell Kirkland.
But for these families, they can afford to buy entire bulk of toilet papers for that price and coming back home to that pulperia.
Oh, so you think those pulperias actually buy
they are
at
feeding
Price
themselves?
Okay.
Definitely.
Okay. Yeah, well, it makes sense.
They need to supply themselves with, discount prices in bulk and then come down to individual prices.
Of course, that's the business model, right?
Of course, that means...
but I still feel like a lot of these pulperias, like, the prices are pretty good.
But that's what I'm saying.
Like when you go to these pulperias, I'm like, there's...
Yes. Yes. I mean, it's a setback too, because a lot of control in the expired aspect of the product is sometimes you have to be careful.
And read the expiry dates when you go into these pulperias.
Yes, you can buy stuff there that was expired 2 weeks ago.
I always wonder too, like a lot of the times I go in, if it's a super small place and they don't have a lot of inventory, I think you're okay. But if it's like a small place and they have a lot of inventory there, you got to be like, okay, how much are these guys selling? Like, I got to check out these dates here.
Yes, for how long this has been sitting in that stand.
Look for some mold inside the brownies.
Actually, you're right. I mean, because that is the only setback that you have in these little tiny places.
And this is the thing about being a little more slow, a little bit more relaxed. When you go into these stores, don't be in a rush. Look for the molds. Look for the due dates. Take your time.
And question yourself, what am I doing here?
Should I drive a little further?
Because exactly, you have to look at it as an emergency.
Yeah.
You know.
You know what?
You stop by there because it's an emergency.
Yeah, but we're pretty good like that. Like if we're driving, I always stop at these pulperies. A lot of the times when we stop there is not to buy the food and everything else. I'm not, a lot of the times we'll stop in these pulperies to grab a bottle of water or, a drink for the road. But again, going on to, I know, we have our own things, but sodas, I love sodas. Sodas are local restaurants, mom and pop shops. You see them all over the country. They're out of people's houses. I love them. Like that's homemade. Like
you know how I feel about that.
I know, I love it, and I don't know. You're bougie. That's why Mario's a bougie kind of guy. He likes the finer things in life.
They say that the sooner you start exposing yourself to the world, you start changing your likes and dislikes.
Your palate grows.
Yes, because now I can determine if it's a good wine, or if it's a good this, or if it's a good cheese.
Oh, we know. Trust me, we know.
Well, before when I was here, I didn't have comparisons.
Yeah. You went and you learned. There is some finer things out there.
And going back to the same issue about the expats, as you know, we have Europeans and we have North Americans and we have South Americans, and all these different foreigners are bringing their cultures and bringing their habits and ways to do things every day, and we now can explore. Going to an Italian restaurant, French restaurant, Indian restaurant.
Yeah, and I think that's the good thing for expats coming in. I gotta get rid of this fly. This fly's killing me. This fly's like in the mic.
What is it, right here?
This little guy.
Well, we have flies in Costa Rica, just for you to know.
I know. This is the problem with doing the thing outside. It's like, look at this little guy. Like, hey, man, get out of here.
Yeah, I don't think the audience is going to be bothered by that.
No, I'm getting bothered. They're going to get bothered too.
Just say unfiltered.
Oh, yeah, Costa Rica. I guess Costa Rica Unfiltered.
You see?
One thing I was going to say regarding that was, for expats now moving here, that's the good thing, for a lot of them, because there is things you can get like back home now, right? Like you do have that Price Smart where it's like a Costco, you can buy all kinds of stuff. The restaurants, like you said, man, the Indian restaurants here are amazing. Like there's Masala, and then that other one we went to, Naans and Curries, that opened up. Like these are fantastic Indian restaurants, right?
But those are mom and pops, right? I mean, they are not franchise.
No. They're. I mean, that's why. Like I think I'm not even 100% sure, but the guy that owns Masala owns all the ones that are here, and I'm pretty sure there's like 3 Masalas or 4. It's legitimate. He's got a fantastic restaurant. The food's great there. It's awesome.
Yeah. A little pricey for my taste, though.
Yeah, I mean, but it's Indian food, like authentic Indian food in Costa Rica, man.
Yeah.
That's what we keep saying. Like when all these things come down for the foreigners, it's gonna be pricey, right? These guys got to move down here and figure it out. Like he had to come down here and figure it out. Like, I got to make authentic Indian food in Costa Rica. Like, man, how the hell do I do that?
Yeah. We met a gentleman yesterday that moved recently to Costa Rica. He came from Hawaii, and he was asking us to send him to the real Costa Rican places,
for eat. Food.
Yeah. And I asked the guy why, because I was there sitting with Mitch, my friend Mitch.
We should have Mitch on a podcast.
Oh my God! Well, make it at 3 seconds.
Yeah. Quick podcast.
Yes. Mitch will be good because Mitch has been in the country for a long time.
Yeah, so that'll be a foreigner that's been here for 30 years.
Yes.
Doesn't speak much Spanish.
Yeah, well, I mean, if this podcast is going to be a Spanglish level, you will have success.
Yeah, because this is the real deal.
This is unfiltered.
Help the expats. We got a little bit of, Costa Rican flavor.
We have to bring the unfiltered part every day. Otherwise it doesn't work.
Yeah. That's true, man. We just let it happen. Let the flies come, man.
Yes,
let the flies come.
Yes. But going back to this, he asked, and we mentioned him 2 or 3 places close by in which he can go and order there. And the next question to him was, why, right? I mean, why having all these other options? And
instead of just local food?
Yes.
Oh.
Because, I mean...
Yeah.
And he said he's basically, his desire of moving to Costa Rica was to, introduce himself to the culture. He didn't
want to live like a North American.
Exactly, because it's a lifestyle that you can choose here too. I mean,
definitely.
That the country offers you that, right? I mean, you can show up to a particular development, which everything is to the standards of North America, and you can find all the products and all the service at that level too. That means feeling like you never moved from your house.
And we discussed yesterday, like we're living in, these beach towns. Like we're in Playa Grande, Cabo Vela, Santa Cruz, Guanacaste province. That works all the way down the line to exactly where we are. I mean, there's a lot of foreigners here. There's a lot of international schools. I think we have a plane.
That is not a plane.
No?
No, it's a truck passing. You see the truck?
Oh, yeah, it is a big truck. Okay,
it's unfiltered. It's carrying cattle.
It was carrying cattle.
Yeah,
So, we live here in the beach towns. A lot of expats, a lot of international schools, a lot of different restaurants, growing like crazy. But it's fantastic. We love it. I mean, the prices are a little more expensive.
Yes.
But like I was telling you, I have a friend that's in Poas, near Alajuela there, and we go to their place, and my wife was dumbfounded at the farmer's market how cheap the prices were for all the produce, like ridiculously jaw-dropping cheap. So, you could still, like we always say, it's hard for, we're like, it's hard for people to come here, like retiring on a little bit of a budget, trying to make their money last. It's like, it is if you want to be in a place like this, right? Like the pricings here is it's going to be the same as back home, really, right? But you can move inland where you're an hour and a half from the beach. Like here, we're 2 minutes from the beach. You can move somewhere where you're an hour and a half from the beach, and man, the lifestyle is completely different. Super cheap, a little cooler. Like there, you don't need air conditioning at night.
That's correct.
Nighttime there, it gets nice and cool. You can sleep with a blanket. Here, man, you got to flick on that AC a couple times or keep the fans going all night. So it's a little bit different, right?
It is a different. And that takes me to the conversation that we have about the Costa Rica microclimates, because it depends how close you are from the coast versus the mountain. Obviously, you have different temperatures. And the issue with air conditioning is one, right? The higher you go in altitude, the less you're going to need it because you're going to feel fresh in those areas.
And we're probably going to discuss about a few different areas. I mean, we can even take the podcast with us somewhere and do a show maybe somewhere else where it's a little bit different. We will spend a weekend somewhere.
Selling the view.
Yeah, selling the views, showing everybody, right?
Yeah.
Like, this is what you get, close to where we are. Beach town, you still got some mountains. It's awesome.
Right.
But I think it'd be cool to take the podcast somewhere else and show some different climates. I remember one day we were driving, and we were going to see our friends, Norbert and Elia, close to San Jose Airport, which is 5.5 hours from here. And we've driven there quite a few times to go see them. Then we'll fly out from there because, flying's a better price. We get to hang out with them for a few days. We love, they're like family now. They literally are family. And, man, there was the one time we went up, and I forget if we took the road that went up by Orentina that time, which Orentina is another fantastic town. A lot of locals. I didn't think there was too many expats there, but what a gorgeous little town. But driving up there was this one spot we went to where we have the temperature gauge in the car, and I have a video somewhere that we took, and we climbed this little mountain, and it probably took, let's say, 15 minutes to get up the mountain and come down. So we're talking, 7.5 minutes up, 7.5 minutes down.
12 degrees change.
12, if not 15 degrees change. Like, absolutely crazy. Yes. Like, driving up this mountain, we're watching it go down, and then we open up the windows and we're there, and we're like, man, it's cold. Like, it's chilly here. You know what I mean? And then calm down, and then you get to the bottom. It's like, man, I cannot believe how the temperature changed like that.
Yes.
Yes. Super, super cool.
No, that is exactly what the country has to offer. We, basically, locals, we're still learning ourselves about the place, especially when you hear foreigners talking about Costa Rica. I think they show more nationalistic aspects of embracing the country than ourselves.
Okay, now, is that because, so this is a good question, is like, you know a lot of Costa Ricans. Do a lot of Costa Ricans, because I like to ask people, like when I meet them, because I'm friends with a ton, I got lots of Costa Rican friends here. And I always ask them, like, hey, like, where were you born in? A lot of the people around here were born in San Jose. It is what it is. They come down to the beach towns, right? Yeah. But Do you think that a lot of the Costa Ricans that are born here, even if they're at an older age, do you think they've traveled a lot in Costa Rica, or no?
No.
They've kind of remained where they live.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah. It's being an effort by the government, especially the tourist ministry, to create a marketing campaigns to invite Costa Ricans, so city people or city families, to explore the country by having offers done in hotels or some restaurants. And some of those families, once a month or every 2 months, they can explore driving to other areas. But the country hasn't been promoted to ourselves, as we would like.
It's kind of being promoted to, obviously, expats and people, hey, come move to Costa Rica, look how beautiful it is.
Right.
I feel like Costa Ricans, obviously born and raised here, lived here, they know how beautiful this country is. But for me, it'd be like, I mean, yeah, we live in a technology age right now where I know what's in Uvita, what's in Dominical, I can just go online and find out all kinds of information. It's awesome.
Google up.
Yeah, and back in the day, that wasn't a thing, right? But, I mean, you feel like if you're in Costa Rica, you would know people that lived in places like Limon. And maybe, hey, come down to Limon this weekend. And that wasn't a big thing, I guess, right? Like people traveling within Costa Rica.
Yes. And even right now, you see it in the foreign community. We don't move, right? I mean, people that move to Playa Grande, they kind of adjust themselves to to their own thing being here. You don't see them exploring once a month or once every 2 months. Just driving from here to.
Yeah, like you're in Playa Grande.
That's correct.
You live in Playa Grande. That's it. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're like, again, when we first came down here, we visited the first time we ever came down, because we came down here for a few months while we were in lockdown in Canada. We decided, let's get the kids to the beach and let them do some stuff. It wasn't that easy, but whatever. We ended up making it work. Came down here. I think we were supposed to be here for a couple weeks or a month or something. We ended up coming down. We started in Samara and then kind of worked our way up. Checked out Playa Guiones, Nosara, and then worked our way up. Ended up in Tamarindo and then checked out Grande. We really like this area. We ended up extending, because the lockdowns extended in Canada, so we ended up extending our vacation. I think we were here for like 2 months or 3 months. We ended up 2 months, I think it was. We ended up staying. So we really got a good feel for the area. Tamarindo, we spent a lot of time there. We liked it. When we went back home, we were kind of both like, what are we going to do? Like, we should just bite the bullet, make the move. We were still during COVID. There were still like lockdowns and talks of everything. So we're like, you know what? What's worst case scenario? You just move back home. So let's just try it.
Well, that is the way a lot of people do their move. I mean, it's like an exploration. They can go either or, right? In most cases, the country is doing the best, not only to go back to the welcome part, but also doing the best to accommodate you guys, with the needs and services there. You have the insecurity too, in order for you to feel comfortable, and making that choice in the long term.
And that was one thing, like I was saying, we wanted to check out these other places. So when we said we were going to make the move, when we came back, we were in San Jose, because that's where we flew in. And Norbert, that's the first time we ever met them. He helped us find a car. We ended up buying a car in Grecia, which is used car capital of Costa Rica, I guess, right?
Yes.
So we ended up buying a car, and then from there, we said, okay, let's go down to like, to that side. We went to Uvita, Dominical, came down to La Fortuna, and we kind of just worked a few different areas, making our way back to kind of see, hey, look, now we checked out a bunch of areas. Where do we want to be? We ended up settling here, even though this is one of the first places we came. Again, it was the schools, it was the amount of development, it was like we can get certain things here that we couldn't get elsewhere, and this felt more like a place where we could settle down and feel a little bit more comfortable. And it's been like that. It's been fantastic, right?
Well, it's like anything. We were following a couple of arguments on Facebook the other day when they were asking why this place is better than this one, and why this place is expensive than this one, and why this place is this and then that. And I came to the conclusion, not being an expat, I guess, or not calling myself a foreigner, the place has an enchanting way to drill you in. In some areas where you show up, you can kind of feel a vortex, making you complete. It's like
it's almost like it drags you back. Like that's the spot.
It's some kind of magnet,
Yeah.
And it happens to me as a Costa Rican. Sometimes I go to places that I don't want to leave,
Well, Uvita, you said you loved Uvita.
Oh, my gosh,
What a beautiful place,
Playa Grande.
No, man, Uvita. Uvita, when we went there, what we loved about it was some of the places we stayed in, we were in literally like, maybe a 20-minute walk. So still walking distance. It's not a short walk, but 20 minutes, half-hour walk. And you were at the most beautiful waterfalls. Yes. And you can dive in, and there was people there. And, I loved it because there was so many locals there. I remember going there on, like, the weekend when we would go, and it was, like, locals in the water. The whole family was in there, and they were bringing picnic baskets. It was, like, the coolest feeling, looking up and seeing toucans in the trees. Like, literally 30 toucans, and you're like, what the heck? Like,
no.
You think you're in a movie.
Yes. Yes. It's just, I'm telling you, it's an enchanting place.
It really is, man. It really is. And the more we explore Costa Rica, the more we see, like, man, this place is it is fantastic.
But it's the same thing happens to me here when I show up first time in Playa Grande. That's what I felt. I felt that magnet, all of a sudden it's like, okay, I like this place. I'm going to stick around here.
Well, again, Playa Grande and beach towns are a lot different than San Jose and city life.
Well,
right?
obviously. I mean, remember, starting with we are more than 5-hour drive from here.
Yeah, from the city.
Yeah,
but again, we're going to talk about a lot of different places because, like we were talking about the other day, there's places for everybody here. Some people don't want to be in a beach town. They're okay with being a few hours from the beach, and they want to be in a big city where you can go to San Jose, you can go to Escazú, Santa Ana. Yeah. Man, those are like, a little more bougie, a little more. They got the malls, they got the, all the stores. That's just to each their own, right?
But it's becoming a trendy too. A lot of people, investment-wise, they are kind of shopping and something more affordable, close to the coast, and spending a little more in a piece of farm and the 10, 20 acres on areas like Fortuna or
because Fortuna you can still get good price for acres.
And the weather is extremely cold compared with the coast.
Yeah, it's a lot cooler there, that's for sure.
That means that you can spend your time on the beach side and then drive back the weekends, and being in a different weather.
And La Fortuna is another place that we went there. It is cooler at night, but there you got the hot springs. Like Arenal volcano in La Fortuna is absolutely majestic. Stunning. And I read the other day that it is, I believe, number 2 or number 3 in the world as like most perfect volcano.
That I didn't know.
Yeah, I think it's like number 2 or number 3, the most perfect shaped volcano in the world.
Interesting. Yeah. You see? I didn't.
You learn something new every day.
Every day, and that's the good thing about your podcast. That we don't have to know everything.
No, we're gonna learn it as we go.
Yes, for sure.
But yeah, we're gonna learn. We're gonna learn lots of different things here, man.
Right, because knowing everything doesn't make you attractive.
No, and even if somebody asks us some questions that we don't know, obviously we'll have it ahead of time. We'll do some research and we'll make sure we get the right answers.
As you well know too, in the development or construction, we have different ways. It's not necessarily the North American way to build. Yeah. I mean, that a lot of people have different expectations about construction as a final product.
Yeah, and we're learning that too. And I mean, it helps knowing kind of what you want. If you're going to build here, it's nice to have, somebody on your team that maybe is from here or not from here, but knows the standards of this construction compared to the other one, so that you can adjust and bring it to what you want as a foreigner, right? So, I mean...
it's been cases and cases. I know people, depends on the needs they have, they can even bring their own builder, to guide the locals in order to accomplish what he specifically wants.
And one thing we learned when we first came here that was cool is like almost every Airbnb, almost every place we stayed at, the laundry was outside.
Really?
Yeah, like it was always the laundry was outside. The machines are outside, everything, and it was that's foreign to us, like having the laundry outside.
Interesting. Doesn't have to be hooked up to
inside
the
pipe.
Tank,
yeah, exactly.
Because in some cases, because contribute to some problems. Depends on the size of the septic
tank,
system. You know, I mean, in Costa Rica, we said that we have an answer for anything.
Yeah.
You know, you give us a question, we have an answer.
Well, going back, having said that, going back to the lawyers, is like coming here. I didn't know, like, you got to have a lawyer that's close to you because you're going to use a lawyer for everything. You know, buying a car, you need a lawyer. When I bought my car, it was literally the dealer and myself in the lawyer's office, sitting down, both filling out the contract together. That's just how they do it, right? So,
but I can futurize or guarantee you that the more exposure you have to the country, eventually you're going to explore yourself doing deals in which lawyers are not involved.
oh really?
Yeah, because the system itself, it was done that you bring the documents to the lawyer once you make a deal. Mm-hmm. You know, for the legalization aspect of.
But here, all the deals that I've done, the lawyer's the one writing up the whole deal.
It's correct,
right?
because in Spanish is the language in which you have to write those documents. No, I like to use a lot no artificial colors.
There's a place with no artificial colors,
Yes,
that's for sure.
That is, you're going to find every day, you know, something there. A little bridge broke up because, a branch fell, or a cow decided to sleep in the middle of the street, and now you have to go around, you know.
Yeah, we love that about this place.
Well, that is where we live. I mean, that's where we choose to live.
Yeah, cow traffic is everywhere here. Cattle crossing the ridge. Just wait. Everybody, traffic lines up. Let them cross, you know, let them cross.
There's the Costa Rican traffic.
I love it, man.
You know, at least in these areas. I mean, in San Jose, for sure, you're going to have cars, traffic. But in these areas,
yeah, definitely. When I went to San Jose, it was legitimate, like highways and, you know, and we didn't see that here, you know, even in Liberia. Like, coming from Liberia Airport to here, it's an hour and a little bit, and it's only single lane, well, double lane for traffic, but single lane each way.
Yes, and people, you know, they got used to, because it depends on the hour. They know that you're going to take advantage of that, and you don't want to do that around afternoon or early morning, because that's when everybody's commuting.
It's the traffic, it's the traffic time.
But if you choose the right time, the highway is just for you. You know. And now the new highway that connects Liberia with Punta Arenas is definitely shorting distance out, at least, you know, for us living in this area.
Yeah.
And it's little by little. I can assure you that I've been seeing the development of the country, and it's all to accommodate the foreign community.
Man, we've been here for just over 2 years, and I see it like every time we go out, it's like, oh, this is coming, this is coming, that's coming. Right?
Costa Ricans are not demanding those changes.
We were talking about the pulperias earlier, and then you have like just in Tamarindo there, they have the Auto Mercado. Auto Mercados, anybody that lives here, they know any town you go to, if there's an Auto Mercado, that's a bigger town, because it's like like a Fortino's, or I don't know in the U.S. we'd call it a CVS, or like it's a bigger grocery store, right? You can get everything you want in there, and you can buy a lot of foreign products.
Yeah, the quality too.
The quality, yeah. Like Mario likes to shop at Auto Mercado.
No. I call the goodies shop.
The goodies shop, yeah. You can get a lot of cool stuff. Like it's a proper like big grocery store.
Yeah. Brands.
Let's
say, mostly.
And Tamarindo for us in this region is the only Auto Mercado right now. However, I heard
there is one is coming
in
close by.
Flamingo, in Playa Flamingo, which
Flamingo.
That would be super cool in Playa Flamingo.
Yeah, well, because the marina development.
Yeah, they just built the new marina. It's like a $40 million project, or $45 million project or something. They've already put $15 million, I guess, into it, and it's looking fantastic.
Outside the plaza, right? The plaza around the marina.
Yeah.
With the hotel.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, it looks fantastic. Like, it's amazing there.
No, it is a beautiful place.
Wow. Yeah. I put a video the other day on my Instagram from Surfbox. Yeah. Surfbox, a little restaurant that was in Flamingo, was a little tiny one, and they just opened a big one right at the marina, and it's fantastic. It's a beautiful place.
And it's another one coming up, and in the tip of Nicoya, the Tambor town they call it, where they're going to build a marina there too.
Oh, they are building another marina. Oh, I didn't know that. Yeah. Are they like working on an old marina, or they're building a full new marina?
Full new marina.
Oh, wow.
They, for what I read, they already had the permits, and they were trying to allocate the developer to see if when can you start, building. All the studies are being done. They just opened a new airport in Covano, who is nearby. I mean, local airport. But the country is preparing. The country is preparing for such a small area and such a small number of citizens, because we are in the 5 million range altogether.
And now we're growing like crazy because of all the foreigners. Lots of foreigners moving.
Well, remember, it's hard to account the number on that, because, as you know, in Costa Rica, you don't have to be a resident or a citizen to be here.
Perpetual tourist.
Yes, as long as you can, renovate your visa every 4 months, you will be fine. With that being said, it's hard to have a particular. We do have access to some of the numbers of how many Americans and Canadians and other cultures live here.
Yeah, because they can like, they know what we're doing here. They register, but it's like every 90 days we leave. Leave the country, come back until you go for your residency. Once you apply for residency, you don't have to leave anymore.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
I mean, well, at least until you decide, now that you cannot leave. I mean, of course you can leave.
Yeah, but if you don't want to, it's not like you have to leave the country every 90
to
days.
renovate,
to renew your
visa. Yeah.
If you apply for residency, then you can stay, which is great.
And as you know, we have plenty formats. Of what kind of type of residence you would like to apply for.
Investor.
We have the new one they call the nomads.
Digital nomads. Yeah, that's a lot of people are taking advantage of that one.
Yes, there are a lot of people, because that one is basically, it's an invitation for you to come to the country and choose a great spot to live and do your work from there. I mean, like we are sitting right now. We're doing this is work. I mean, this is basically what we're doing.
Yeah. No, and that's great for them. They just find a place with good Wi-Fi, and you can work and have your life here. Go to the beach and hang out, and that's why we're here talking about Costa Rica Unfiltered. Why people want to come, and if you want to visit here, if you want to invest here, if you want to, live here.
Yes.
Just try to answer some questions.
Or just show up.
And we'll just answer some questions for you. So this way, when you're ready, just come on down.
And remember, right? We don't have all the answers. I mean, the idea with these efforts is basically create an invitation.
Especially me, I'm a newbie here. We've only been here 2 years, 2 and a bit, and there's lots to learn, and we're having fun learning it.
Yes, and that we discussed not long ago, right? That it's not about destination; it's about enjoying the journey.
Enjoy the journey,
because otherwise, it don't make sense to move out of your comfort zone to go and explore something else if you're not prepared for that journey in particular.
That's one thing that it's hard for me to learn. I've always been the one, like, with my eye, where do I want to go? Where do I want to go? I want to get there. It's like, just enjoy the way there. And you're one of the big brains that keeps telling me that, like, just enjoy the journey, man.
Well, it's no need to change things that they are not asking to be changed. If you find in Costa Rica a gravel road, it's an explanation for that. It's not that nobody want to pay to make it a paved thing. No, it's just the explanation is it's not enough traffic.
Yeah, it's a gravel road. It's not enough traffic. Yes. Enjoy the rough road.
Enjoy the road.
Enjoy calling the mechanic.
and it's been the case. And I witness in some neighborhoods, even with the spots are living there, that they are refusing, to fix the roads.
They just don't want it.
They don't want it.
It's like, I moved here for a reason, man.
Yes.
I want to come down this dirt road. I want less people to come down this road.
And I don't want the noise of people speeding in front of my house.
I get it. Makes sense, man.
That means the road is as it is and stays in the way I found it.
And that's why we've been enjoying this here more. Like, this is a dead-end road.
Yes.
It ends at a farm.
Yes.
This is what it is. It's fantastic.
Yeah. We live on this planet for such a short time, here and there. It's good to just,
Yeah. Mario's philosophies. Mario sends me a beautiful message every morning to wake up the day. Good morning, friend, with a nice little bit of positive energy and
Reality check.
Reality check. Let's just keep with the flow. Let's keep walking. The earth, provides, and let's move on. Let's keep walking.
Call it getting old, because I read once.
It's wisdom. It's all the wisdom.
I read once it takes time for us, to develop wisdom. Time. I mean, sometimes it will be great to be 30 years old and with the same wisdom.
Yeah. Yeah. If you knew today what you knew at 30.
Yeah, of course. I mean, we will be a killing machine.
Yeah. You'd be living a different life, that's for sure.
That's correct. That means that in life, especially confronting new generations, it's important to remind them that, hey, slow down.
It's I totally agree, and again, it's that thing where like I get that today, like I hear it, I get it, I pay attention, and I want to do the same thing. When you're younger, it's so difficult, right? Like I tell my kids all the time, right? Try to teach them that stuff of slow down, open up your mind to explore different realities, and think about what you want. But again, my dad used to tell me stuff like that, right? About trying to improve my life as I was growing. But, sometimes when you're a young kid, I want to spend my money on my car. I want to do this. I want to do that, right? If I could go back to all the money I spent, I don't regret anything I did when I had my cool little car when I was young and I hung out with my buddies. And, like, that was fun times. Like, we had a lot of fun. But I mean, and I a lot of my buddies could be like this too, thinking the same. If we were back in that same position and that, few $1,000s when we were young teenagers, spending that few $1,000s on our car, I wish it was, let's go away. Like if we would have explored the world a lot more, man, who knows where you could be today, right?
Yes. Yeah, you see, that is exactly.
Yeah.
Because it happens, it happens to me. I mean, I don't regret anything. All my decisions have been mine.
Yeah.
But sometimes you're right. If you look back, we done a lot of, at least in my case, a lot of dumb decisions just for the purpose of pursuing pleasure.
But that's why we're humans.
Yeah.
I mean, we're human beings, right? I
Yes.
mean, and a lot of the times it is pursuing pleasure, right? I mean, what makes us happy? What makes us want more? And
Chocolate, sugar, and wine.
Chocolate, sugar, and wine. Yeah, cigars, whiskey, and
and
steak.
rock and roll.
Rock and roll.
Oh well, the steak part too. As you notice, a lot of people are selling eggs around here.
Fresh. Like you can't get any fresher than that. You got to pick the feathers off the egg for crying out loud. And we love that when we buy our eggs. It's like, yeah, it's got feathers on it. This is free range or whatever the hell you want to call it. You want to call it organic? This is organic.
That is all the dirt from the veggies.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, the lettuce and tomatoes.
That stuff's coming right out of the ground. Right out of the chicken, man.
Yes. Yeah. It's part of the Costa Rica Uncensored chip that you're put into these podcasts.
Yeah.
You just have to. There's nothing more free than sit down and just share. Talk.
Yeah. That's why I feel like us starting this podcast again. We're coming to a closing, I guess, in the podcast. But us starting this podcast, like you and I, since the day we met. How many times we just sit down, grab a drink, and talk and just exchange information? And I feel like this is just, why not? Why not have a microphone in front of us while we do it?
Yes.
I mean, that's the difference.
Just keep it under the record. Look at that beautiful bee just
right inside your glasses. Yes. I saw that.
Uncensored.
Uncensored.
Don't edit it.
Yeah.
Just leave the BB.
Leave the BB.
Yeah. No big deal.
So I think... I'm happy to do this podcast now.
Thank you for inviting me, man. Really, it's an honor.
Oh, I think the camera shut down. Or it's about to. Thanks for joining us on our podcast.
Thank you. And I guess we're going to see each other again with another
See you next
episode.
week. See you next week, episode 2.